Birmingham Sports
with Ben Ellis.
This is BHBN Radio.
It is the Monday after from Birmingham Sport, BHBN Radio, Birmingham's Hospital Radio Network, and the BHBN Sport team come together every Monday to chew the fat over the previous weekend. We brought you live coverage across the wards of Birmingham City's trip to Coventry City, and we've also covered West Bromwich Albion this weekend and Aston Villa, and we're going to be talking about all of that over the course of the next few minutes that we are together. The panel that are with me, Ben Ellis, this evening include our own Kim Smith. Hi, Kim.
Hiya.
You all right?
Yeah.
Good stuff, good stuff. Jonathan Wimbush was at the Hawthorns on Friday night, and he's with us as well. Hi, John.
Hiya, Ben. How you doing?
Not too bad. We'll get to that in a bit. That I'm feeling a lot better than I was. And Ed Mackay, who has been watching all of the football this weekend, is on the call as well. Hi, you, Ed.
Very well, thank you, Ben.
Good
watching all the football as always.
Yes, Rob Richards may be joining us at some point as well. He was at Villa Park. We're recording this on a Sunday evening, and you'll forgive me if I do have one eye on the golf at the moment.
Yes,
while all that's going on. The dullest sport in the world, except for 3 days every 2 years. I don't know why that is, but it just is. But there we are. Looks like Europe are going to do the business emphatically, which is absolutely wonderful. So as we're waiting for the potential arrival of Rob Richards, and as we've already got Kim and John, we're going to start with the Championship this week, our review of the weekend's action. Saturday lunchtime, it was live across the wards on Birmingham Sport with the wonderful Phil Stoneman. Wasn't a great day for Birmingham City, though. Defeats at Coventry City, and here's how it sounded.
Ball coming in, it's headed down by Clara. Eccles tries to get to it. Allsop couldn't hold the ball. Thomas Asante got to the spilled ball and put it past Allsop's reach to make it Coventry 1, Blues 0.
Oh, what's happened there?
Oh, second yellow for Robinson is off.
Second
Oh dear.
Red card. Jack Robinson is off here. Second yellow card against cynical foul, unfortunately, on Haji Wright, and he's walking back, and again the Coventry fans wave him goodbye here at the CBS Arena with 42 minutes on the clock.
Sakamoto hooks the ball in, and Haji Wright is just,
is that over the line?
Is that over the line? Yes, the goalkeeper. Yeah, the ref has given it. We weren't sure whether it had actually crossed the line. I'm just trying to see who actually got on the end of that, because there was a big scramble in front of the goal. Ryan Allsop looking so annoyed with himself, because it looks as though he actually spilled the ball, and the ball might have gone out of his hands and over the line, but we're not getting any replays here, so unfortunately we can't have a look at that again. If you guys in the studio have got anything you can
Kim, it's a bright Osei Samuel own goal. Osei Samuel own goal.
Osei Samuel
own goal, yeah.
Right, okay.
That's it, cleared out by Rushworth. A long kick there. A long kick. And then it's in it. Have we got, is it got? Oh, something.
That's the third.
Yeah, that's the third.
First touch of the ball, that was Ellis Sims.
The Danish player for Coventry City, Victor Torp, on the, goal. 77 minutes gone. Coventry City 3 now. Birmingham City 0. Victor Torp gets the third one.
First 25, half an hour, whatever it was, I thought the game was very tight. I thought there was very little in it. I thought we looked a threat. Yes, we conceded a goal from a long throw, which we should have done better on, but I could see as the half went on that we were going to grow even more into the game, and there was absolutely nothing between the teams at that point. And then obviously the red card, 2 yellow cards, has obviously hugely impacted where we went from there.
Any complaints on those 2 yellow cards?
The complaints, I thought they were harsh. I thought the first one was really harsh. I thought we've had a game today where it's been decided ultimately, or the decisive moment has come from us losing a player.
So back-to-back defeats on the road. Kim Smith, I'll come to you as obviously you were there. It's easy, isn't it, to kind of get a bit carried away when you start reading social media after a defeat. I mean, I would be quite honest. I can't remember the last time I saw anybody go to post something positive about their team on social media. It's like people almost keep it to themselves. So it's not really. It's not really a representative sample of what most Blues fans are thinking, but there was frustration after the game on Saturday.
Yeah, there was. Obviously the sort of turning point of it all was Jack Robinson getting sent off towards the end of the first half, because had Blues gone in at half time 1 down and with 11 men, I think you could have quite reasonably expected that you could have at least tried to get something out of it. But although it was one of those games where if it could go wrong, it did go wrong, because of course, right at the start, just in the last minute or so of the warm up, Marvin Dutch pulled up. So there was a last minute change, putting Lyndon Dykes in for the full 90 minutes, where normally he's much more used as an impact sub. So that was a sort of step back to start with. Then of course Robinson gets himself booked twice and goes off. And then, the sort of catalogue of errors increased with the second goal, which turned out to be an own goal, which was really not very clear at the time, because it took a few seconds for the referee to stick his arm up for a goal. And the commentary position is right down the other end of the pitch, and there were one or two of us up there scratching our heads and wondering what on earth had gone on. But no, you're right, it was disappointing, but as you say, nobody really goes on social media to post about their team unless they're going to have a moan. And that
absolutely
just like any team.
Yes, absolutely. Ed, I thought that second yellow card was harsh for Robinson.
It was, but it was, I thought, indicative of sort of a little bit of sloppiness from Birmingham in the middle of the park, because they kept turning over possession, and then they kept being late into the challenges on the Cov players. That was my take on it, and it was just the fact that they'd accrued so many that he decided he'd had enough of it. The ref, I think. I have to slightly take issue with Kim's take on the fact that if they'd gone back out with 11 men, that it could have been a different outcome. Because I think Coventry did show their superiority yesterday. I mean, it's natural. Birmingham are a promoted side. Cov have been in the playoffs 2 years in a row. But I thought Coventry yesterday, that was a statement win for them. I thought Frank Lampard's team were in charge, if I'm honest.
Far be it for me to speak to Kim, and Kim can give her own opinion. But I think what I took from that was Kim was saying you've got a better chance of pulling it back if you've got 11 against 11 rather than they were well in the game. I agree. I think Coventry are nailed on for top six this season. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, they've been around and about for ages. Mark Robbins had done a good job before Frank Lampard came in, and I would be so surprised if Coventry aren't in the top six by the end of the season. They've also, even with not making it through the playoffs last season, they managed to keep a lot of their key players, whereas some teams, if they don't do well in the playoffs, a lot of players then wander off. But the guys like Haji Wright have been persuaded to stay and have another go at it, and that can only strengthen their position. But they are a very good team, and I can see a lot of other teams going to the CBS Arena this season and struggling.
No doubt about it. And we're going to get on to talking about the dangers of not taking your chances when we get on to West Brom in a bit, Jonathan Wimbush. But hey, there you go, Brandon Thomas Asante. When it counted. There when it counted. You know, if you could wind back the clock.
Yeah, and I when he put the goal in and it flashed up on my phone, I did text Kim on WhatsApp saying it had to be him. It had to
Yeah,
be Brandon the
yeah.
Thomas Asante. But Frank Lampard has got Coventry drilled in very well. Currently second in the table, so yeah, they are nailed on at the moment for top six. Haji Wright and Victor Torp, joint top scorers in the whole league, along with Josh Sargent of Norwich, with 5 goals each. So yeah, there's a lot of goals for Coventry, and I think personally the way the game went, I think 3-0 actually flattered Blues.
Yeah, it did. Ed, I'm on Coventry and Frank Lampard though. I mean, he's shown that he's a championship manager, isn't he? I mean, when you look at the job he did at Derby to get them into the playoffs, and obviously it didn't go well for him at either Chelsea or Everton that step up, but the championship does seem to be his level.
Exactly the point I wanted to make about Coventry today, actually. I think Coventry City are actually one of those clubs that have been through a lot without getting a lot of sort of media coverage because, they got stitched up, by their owners. They had no ground for years. They nearly went bust. Nobody seemed to give them the same sort of coverage that a lot of teams get when they're in that situation. And now I think sometimes this happens, I think, in football, where a manager comes in who marries up with the sort of the history of what the club have been going through. You think like Frank Lampard, he could have been sort of dead and buried as a manager, and he's come into a club who are just re-emerging. It's sort of a rebirth for him and a resurgence for Coventry City, and it has gelled perfectly. So I think he deserves a lot of credit. I was very heavily critical of Frank Lampard as a manager, if I'm honest with you. He looked totally out of his depth at Chelsea. He didn't do anything of any note at Everton, despite being lauded there. And I think this is, like you said, he's the right man for the right job at the right time, and he's getting results. I mean, they're unbeaten.
Absolutely. Bringing it back to Blues, though, 2 games in quick succession before the next international break. Obviously, it's back at home, Kim, on Tuesday night against Sheffield Wednesday. And we've said the difference between Blues at home and Blues away. But with that comes expectation, doesn't it? And Blues fans will turn up on Tuesday night expecting both the performance and the 3 points against a team that has been struggling both on and off the field at the start of the season.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think because of last season, it has raised expectations. And I think for some fans, it's raised expectations a bit too much. And I think maybe 1 or 2 people need to take a chill pill.
Yes, I agree with that. There were people in the summer who thought they were going to do an Ipswich, and and they still might. They might challenge for the playoffs. But would a season in mid-table consolidating be all that bad to then go again next season? I mean, I'm not trying to curb ambition, but when you go up too quick, you come down just as quick, and that's another thing to that you have to think about. But they'll be hopeful of the 3 points against Sheffield Wednesday, and then the glamour tie on Friday night against Wrexham.
Yes, the Hollywood game, which of course the media will all be slavering over again, I'm sure, because they will be hoping to see Ryan Reynolds, etc. So that one should be quite entertaining. But yeah, this thing about expectations. I don't think it would do Blues any harm at all to spend a season consolidating. And to be honest, I'd be quite happy with top 10 this season because often teams come up from League One and they don't do that well. We've got to bear that in mind. And I think actually get everything more secure, then you can build again to have another go next season.
What about in general though the lack of goals, obviously compared to last season? That's something that has to be worked on at the very least, you would think.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously we don't know what the issue with Marvin Dukes is. Hopefully he will be back and firing soon. Jay Stansfield didn't look himself.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. That's absolutely true.
Yeah, so whether being brought back a little bit too early, I'm really not sure. And hopefully, Kyogo is going to be able to sort himself out. Otherwise, if they're not saying it already, there will be Blues fans saying, "Oh, but why did we sell Alfie May?"
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good point, and a good place to pause, because we're going to have a look at what happened at Friday night at the Hawthorns very shortly here on the Monday after from Birmingham Sport, BHBN Radio. After this.
BHBN Radio has been going since 1952. It is run entirely by volunteers, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Right now, BHBN needs friends like you to ensure it can broadcast to hospitals, care homes, and into the community for many more years to come. You can help by donating through our Just GoFundMe account. It's easy. Simply go to our website, bhbn.net, scan our GoFundMe QR code, and in a few clicks, you can help us out. If you're a taxpayer, you can give 25% more through gift aid at no extra cost to you.
BHBN Radio.
It is the Monday after on Birmingham Sports at BHBN Radio with me, Ben Ellis. I've got Jonathan Wimbush, Kim Smith and Ed Mackay with me. We may have our own Rob Richards joining us at some point. We may not. That's the excitement that we can bring you today on the show. But we're going to go to Friday night. Under the lights at the Hawthorns, West Bromwich Albion took on Leicester City, and Rob Richards and Jonathan Wimbush were there. And here's how it sounded.
Oh, good ball here. And Albion are through with Illing Jr. And Illing Jr. Wow. What a goal by Samuel Illing Jr.
Wow.
Just walked through the Leicester City defence and just put it bottom corner. What a brilliant goal from West Bromwich Albion.
And if I'm not mistaken, looks like he's going to shoot. Jed Wallace, shooting opportunity, does. Oh, the keeper has saved it. Oh, another fantastic save from Stalazic to keep that free kick out. And Maja couldn't deal with the follow-up. Crossing opportunity, goes for Decordova, Reid on the volley, and it is in! Leicester equalise. 92 minutes on the clock. Fans are going wild.
They've done it again. Come from behind. The 1-0 lead was very tetchy. And for all the hard work of West Bromwich Albion, with about 2 minutes left on the clock, West Bromwich Albion, it's an absolute sickener.
I don't really want to try and sum it up, to be honest, because it's still so fresh, so much emotion, because yeah, it's tough to accept when you play a game of football like that, when you deserve so much more and you don't come away with what you deserve. It's painful, it hurts. And I want everyone inside of the club, the players, the staff, everyone to be hurting too, because we want to win, we want to know what it takes to win, and we need to strive for more. So much good stuff, deserve so much more, but 1-0 is a dangerous scoreline, and when you create good opportunities and don't put the game to bed, you always run the risk of allowing the opposition back in, and to concede so late on in the nature and what we did is bitterly disappointing, and something we need to work on.
So Jonathan Wimbush, in the end, disappointing way to finish the game against Leicester City with an own goal deep in stoppage time, but there were definitely positives there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And one of the massive positives was the introduction of Sam Illing Jr. Great goal. A little flick on from Hegebo in the centre. And then Illing Jr. took on 3, maybe 4 Leicester defenders and toe poked it home into the bottom right-hand corner of the goal. And it's hopefully a sign of things to come for this season for the young Aston Villa loanee. I had to say that because, present company. But our problem lately, that's the 4th goal that we've conceded after the 84th minute this season so far. It's turned draws into defeats and wins into draws. And, Yeah, it's something that Ryan Mason has got to sort out and pick up on, especially like, he brings the subs on to try and see out a result, be it a win or a draw, and he actually brought off an attacker for an extra defender and still conceded, and that is the biggest problem at the Hawthorns so far. Leicester must have left their shooting boots up in the East Midlands on Friday, because it seemed like it was always going to take something like a Nat Phillips own goal for them to get anything out. But another positive is before Friday we had a run of 5 straight defeats against Leicester. It's not a win, but at least we didn't lose.
Ed Mackay, listening to Jonathan Wimbush there. I mean, obviously we're going to counterbalance the positivity there with the negative. How many chances did they need to finish that game off?
Well, this is the real problem, I think, because you're going to come up against a team better than Leicester in the final third, and then you're going to get punished, aren't you? Because if you don't take your chances, you leave it open to get draws, which was the story of last season, or losses. And to be honest, that is a game they should have won. West Bromwich were, they were moments away from having won it. And as you say, I know to concede an goal and cost yourselves 2 points. It's got to be frustrating for the West Brom fans. But also, it's interesting what you were saying about the managers in the last game. I just wonder whether is Ryan Mason a championship manager? That's what we're actually finding out now, because we're saying like Frank Lampard's proving himself as he's at the right level. I'm not sure. Like Jonathan just pointed out there, he's made a decision that's actually drawn a bit of pressure, and then they've ended up conceding and dropping the points in the dying moments, and they really should have got 3 points.
I think he's in a similar boat to Chris Davies. Of course, they were part of the same coaching setup at Tottenham, weren't they? Before obviously Chris Davies went off to Blues. Personally, I think he was ideal for West Brom. I think that having seen them at the back end of last season under Tony Mowbray, who was a man who was physically and mentally shot, and maybe he came back to management too early after his illness following Blues. But that's just my opinion. It called for a younger manager with something to prove, I think, and I think that was why, to me, it was a good appointment. Yes, he's got things to prove, but you can't blame the manager, Kim, if the striker is going to miss an open goal from 5 yards and put the ball over the bar,
No.
which Josh Maja did at the end.
No. By that point, you have no control, and it's down to the players on the pitch. So yeah, there are limits to what a manager can control, unfortunately.
No doubt about that. Norwich away Wednesday, is it, John?
Yeah, it's Norwich away and then Millwall away next weekend. So a couple of away games for West Brom. As I said, Norwich City, their main threat is Josh Sargent. Like I said, top scorer in the league with 5 goals alongside the 2 Coventry players. So that's going to be a bit of a tough one to get anything out of Carrow Road at the moment.
They haven't won yet at home.
They
haven't
haven't
won yet at
no.
home. They've been better on the road. So
No, but in the head-to-heads, Norwich have been the better team between these two. So yeah, it's one of those where it is a little tough to call. Hopefully, we do get something out of it, preferably a win, obviously, and then go to London and face Millwall at the weekend.
Yeah, take your point on Inning Junior. I think Jed Wallace has been a terrific servant to West Brom over the years, but the difference was noticeable with him wide on the right compared to what we've seen with Jed Wallace in recent weeks. There's no doubt about it. And I believe I put in our WhatsApp group, as soon as he scored, we'll take him back now, thanks.
Yeah,
because that was enough for me.
He's with us till the end of the season.
Well, yeah, so you think that can
saying
change.
The same thing though, Ben. He seemed to make some really odd choices, because I think him out on the right was it just wasn't working, and that's one of the things I was sort of talking about. I mean, as you say, you can't account for missing open goals, but some of the decisions did seem a little bit strange in terms of where he deployed personnel for me as well.
All good points, all valid, and you can, of course, leave your comments on our YouTube channel right here, and we encourage you to click like and subscribe as well. It is the Monday after that from Birmingham Sport, BHBN Radio. We are going to be looking at the Premier League when we come back.
BHBN Radio has been going since 1952. It is run entirely by volunteers, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Right now, BHBN needs friends like you to ensure it can broadcast to hospitals, care homes, and into the community for many more years to come. You can help by donating through our Just GoFundMe account. It's easy. Simply go to our website, bhbn.net, scan our GoFundMe QR code, and in a few clicks, you can help us out. If you're a taxpayer, you can give 25% more through gift aid at no extra cost to you.
BHBN Radio.
It is the Monday after. We're still waiting for Rob Richards. It's like waiting for a London bus. When we two Rob Richards will arrive at the same time. Who knows when that comes? So we are delaying talking about Villa's glorious first win of the season, but we'll move to Friday night. No, Saturday night, I should say, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And John, even you, as a closet Wolverhampton Wanderers fan,
here we go. Go on,
right.
Ben.
That was cruel at the end. There was no doubt about it. When Spurs got that equaliser, that was cruel because Wolves really did put a shift in at Spurs.
Yeah, they absolutely did. And, Santiago Bueno capitalising from the keeper, parrying a corner off his own defender. So Bueno was quickest to react in that. They actually, I honestly didn't give Wolverhampton Wanderers any hope for this match, to be honest. And, they proved me wrong. They did well. They got their goal. But, yeah, like West Bromwich Albion, to be honest, they just had to hold on for the lead and just couldn't. And Palhinha, well-placed shot past Sam Johnston. I think he chose the same, I think Vitor Pereira chose the same lineup that won the Carabao Cup game in midweek against Everton. And it seemed to work well for him. Sam Johnston in goal, made a few good saves, some point-blank range saves as well. And yeah, it was just, at least they've got a point, but Wolves fans will feel they should have had 3.
Yeah, but Ed, they'd have taken a point before the start of the game away at Spurs, wouldn't they? I mean, you got to put it into context.
Before the start of the game, if you'd offered them a point, they'd have bitten your hand off. Absolutely right. However, what I will say is, when you're those moments away from getting the 3 points, and Wolves desperately need those 3 points, it's heartbreaking. But it does show that golfing class, doesn't it? I've heard it a lot about, for example, Liverpool's last minute winners. We just saw Arsenal beat Newcastle. If you keep knocking on the door right into the 93rd, 94th minute, sometimes, that lapse of concentration will end up with a goal. And I did think Wolves dug in so deep for the whole 90 minutes. They really, really worked their socks off. But unfortunately, if you do invite the other team to attack you so much, and something's going to give, and it usually comes in those dying stages. So it's not luck or a fluke that Spurs scored that goal. However, it was a fantastic finish. But it's heartbreaking for Wolves because they really needed a win.
I'm delighted to be able to tell you that Rob Richards is with us. Rob, hello.
Oh yeah. You okay?
We've delayed talking about Villa. We were waiting for you patiently as like kind of like a superstar entrance. So we're talking about Wolves at the moment, and the contrast with obviously the performance. I don't know if you saw the Wolves Spurs game, but the performance at Spurs played the same team as John said against Everton in the Carabao Cup where they won 2-0. But the previous game against Leeds, you were there at that one, and you saw a team totally capitulate once they'd conceded the first goal. Couple of games down the road, there does appeal to be a bit more steel about them.
Yeah, you'd have to hope so, really. I mean, on the subject of the starting 11s, I mean, that was one of the questions, wasn't it? John, one of the journalists, was asking, Pereira, do you know your 11? And he gave the answer, and he says, if you brought 10 fans in here, you'd get 10 different starting 11s, which I see his point. And you also have to be adaptable to the Premier League. Gone are the days of putting the same team out every time, because you have to adapt, and there might be particular players you want to take out the game, so you start a different defender, for instance, or a different attacker for other reasons. But you do have to start to find your team, and things like defensive units have to gel and have to play together a lot. That Wolves team that we saw at Leeds, they had a great first 10-15 minutes. They could have scored a few more than they did. You can't start being a side that you concede one and then collapse, especially going forward as well at home.
No doubt about that. But what's next? Is it Liverpool next? Have I got that right? For Wolves, I'm going to double check that. Should have been more prepared than I actually am. I think it's Liverpool this weekend, isn't it?
It is Brighton and Hove Albion.
It's exactly the same thing. They're the same club.
Yes.
And
we've got same colours.
Yeah, same club, same colours. Same part of the country. Everything.
Yeah.
But obviously, Brighton haven't got that win against Chelsea on Saturday. I think Wolves Liverpool. I'm sure that's coming up soon because I saw it. But anyway, never mind. Brain. I'm half concentrating on the golf. I'm in delirium over what I saw on the TV this afternoon. So yeah, my bad. But okay. Something to build on against Brighton, and let's hope they can do just that. We do need to move on here. We'll stay in the Premier League here on the Monday after, and it has happened at last. Aston Villa have a win in the Premier League against Fulham by 3-1. These were the best bits.
As the ball gets ready to come in from the corner kick, goes in towards the near post, headed on, and it's gone into the back of the net. Early goal in this game. Raul Jimenez with a header from the near post past Emi Martinez, and it's Fulham that break the deadlock after 3 minutes gone here at Villa Park. Aston Villa 0, Fulham 1. Raul Jimenez with a beautiful header into the bottom corner of Emi Martinez's net.
Digne with the ball, another long ball, this time for Villa, trying to find Watkins, and does find Watkins, and it is in the goal! Out of nothing, Ollie Watkins' first goal of the season. A long ball played over by Digne, not dealt with by Bassi, and a cute chip over Leno. Landed just over the line. Villa 1, Fulham 1.
Traore keeps it away from Bogard, but Buendia wins possession and on towards McGinn. McGinn on the edge of the area, thinks about shooting, does shoot! Oh! John McGinn buries the ball into the bottom corner of the net. In front of the whole 10, sends them into rapturous applause, slides in celebration, but more importantly, puts Villa into the lead of this game. Aston Villa 2, Fulham 1. Digne now advancing forward into Fulham's half, looking to tee it off towards Watkins. Watkins inside the box, plays it back towards Rodgers. Oh, it's a shot at Buendia! Buendia gets the second for Villa in the second half, extends Villa's lead to 2 goals, and it's night and day performance from Aston Villa in this game. The first half was a bit disastrous for them, but the second half is absolutely marvellous. Emi Buendia from close range extends Villa's lead to 3-1.
Yes, we needed to win. It was very, very clear. And how is as well our work every day, and our work trying to be consistent, sometimes not through the result, but being consistent in our demands and getting higher our demands collectively, individually, and through it to recover our confidence collectively, individually, and to recover as well more chances for wins. We did on Thursday against Bologna, and we extended today the same more or less wishes, energy, more than even than tactically.
So, Rob Richards at Villa Park, yes, it has at last happened. We now remember how it feels to win a game in the Premier League. But for half an hour, I was absolutely raging at what I was seeing out there. And it looked like we were going all same old. But the Watkins goal, you could argue two decisions that went favourably for Villa as well, which I'm sure Marco Silva was very angry about afterwards. But once Watkins got the goal, you saw Villa lift, didn't you? You saw their shoulders grow. It was so noticeable compared to what we've seen all season.
Yeah, definitely. And not only the players, but that transmits to the fans, which then goes back onto the players. I mean, I don't think you can understate really how big of an effect fans have on players. I mean, Konsa alluded to that during the week and said, sometimes these fans are getting on us and we can feel it. And it felt like that. It was, the spirits were slightly higher coming off the Bologna win. It's a big win in Europa League. They kept a clean sheet as well. They really did test Villa towards the end. So it was a feeling like, okay, let's kick on now. Let's build, let's use this as momentum. And then 3 minutes in, you go and concede from the first corner. And there was it was like, oh, really? Like is this it? Is this our steel and determination? It's 3 minutes in after Bologna.
But what upset me more than the goal, though, Rob, was when they kicked off and straight away they gave the ball away on the halfway line and turned it over, and you thought, oh, hang on, this is going to be.
Yeah, it was
going to be one of those days.
The ball went to Digne and Wilson immediately took it off him and was almost breaking into the box. And I thought, I thought this is going to be embarrassing. I mean, we're looking at 2-0 here within 5 minutes. What's the worst that's going to happen here? But yeah, really good. Obviously to turn that round and to come from behind as well. It was. It was I wouldn't say it was a top performance.
No, I don't think you can. I don't think Villa are in a position to say that it was. Quite frankly,
but I will say there wasn't a player that played badly. I think is the biggest compliment.
That's a good place to look. Ed, I'll come to you. I mean, 2 penalties which Fulham felt they should have had. The Jimenez injury early doors was a key factor as well. Him having to go off because they did lose their only striker really, and they had no backup striker even on the bench because the likes of Muniz are out as well.
Yeah, well, he took his goal really well, Jimenez. So the fact that he had to go off, I think it did seem to affect the Fulham team a little bit because he was obviously who they were looking to get the ball to, and he'd already got on the score sheet. So that did affect things. I have to say, Villa did get away with one. I think one of those penalties. I thought
at least one.
I thought one of them was Stonewall. Really, the other one definitely subjective. But yeah, I thought they got away with it there. Although I have to say, what I've noticed about Villa is they just haven't looked clinical. All the same players are doing a lot of the same patterns, but not clinical. McGinn's finish. I mean, surely you guys want to talk about that because I love seeing a Scotsman score, and that was a goal.
Do you know? And I'll bring Robbie in on this one. What the finish, yes, was great, and the fact they scored, but it was the point at which they turned the ball over from Fulham. It was inside Fulham's third, and then they hit them quickly, which they just haven't done all season so far. Rob, I don't know about what you feel about that.
Yes, I do agree. There was I'm not sure if you remember this one. There was a shot, I think maybe about 10 or 15 minutes in from McGinn, and we caught them trying to play out from the back, and McGinn blasted it from.
I'd written that down thinking I'm going to have to talk about this miss later, aren't I? Because I thought, oh my God, that's shocking.
I referred to this on commentary. It was very similar to when Brentford were trying to play out in the cup, and McGinn charged their centre back and knocked it over to Harvey Elliott, who scored our first goal of the whole season. It was very similar to that, and then McGinn we do it again, and then he does score from it.
What do you make of the Harvey Elliott substitution at halftime for Buendia? And I mean, obviously it worked and he got it right, but
yeah.
I mean, he's not a number 10, Harvey Elliott, is he? I mean, that's the point. I mean, if he's going to use him, he's going to have to find somewhere, the correct place for him to play.
Emery was asked about this, and he said what was the motivation behind the change was, and Emery's answer back was, I took Harvey Elliott off. I didn't say he played badly. I just wanted Buendia, who is slightly different and has different sort of skills to Harvey Elliott, which very much so. For me, Buendia was the man of the match. He came on, instantly changed it, scored, was involved in some of the action for the goals as well. Emery does keep referring to Harvey Elliott needing to adapt. Still, I mean, fair enough. He's 22 or something.
Yeah, fair enough. We're up against the clock here. As a Liverpool fan, Ed, you've got a point.
Just gonna say, I think the trouble with Harvey Elliott is he doesn't really have a position. He had the exact same problem at Liverpool. He's not actually a winger, and he's not actually a 10. He's somewhere in between, and he struggled to get game time at Liverpool for that exact same reason. And a player that you didn't want last season, you were trying to get rid of Buendia, replacing him, means that Harvey Elliott has got work to do if he wants to actually establish what his position is on the football pitch.
Good point. Jonathan Wimbush, do you think this will be it for Ollie Watkins now? Having got that goal, took it well. I don't know if you've seen it. It took it very well.
Well, I haven't seen it, but
all right, Kim Smith, have you seen it? I'll talk to people who know what they're on about.
No, not yet. Sadly,
no, Kim hasn't seen it. Ed's seen it. Right. Back to Rob Richards playing this.
I didn't see it either. Don't
see it either. You were there. Who were you, Chris Kamara?
I was still in half time. No,
can we phone Colin?
Believable then.
Well, it was a long ball from Luca Digne that went over the top of the defence, and he nipped in, and the keeper came out, and he chipped him, and it looped over and bounced into the net. Good goal. Ed Mackay, rescue us, please. Somebody who actually saw this moment, and will it be the making of Ollie Watkins this season?
He is exactly what I was referring to earlier. He's looked well off the mark, and I wondered if he'd had his head turned during the summer because he hasn't looked like he's at the races. But he's off the mark. It was a brilliant goal. He anticipated before everybody else where the ball was going to end up. He put it in the back of the net, and this is his chance now to get up and running for the season.
Absolutely, and they go to the Europa League in midweek, and it will be a historic occasion. And if there are Villa fans who are travelling out to watch the game against Feyenoord in the same stadium where they won the European Cup in 1982, so if you're there in 82 and you were there in 2025, hopefully that will be emotional. I just want to give a shout out to a friend of mine called Marie, who is absolutely Villa mad, and we talked during games and everything. And on Thursday, when McGinn scored, I went, wow, we've scored a goal. And she said she's not watching it. I went, okay, that's fair enough. And then today she said she wasn't watching it. So here it's on record. Marie, I know you're watching. You are officially banned from ever watching Aston Villa on television again. And I will be checking on you on Thursday during the Feyenoord game to make sure that is not the case. We're almost out of time. And we will be back this weekend on Birmingham Sport, BHBN Radio. There's some all other bunch of crazy kickoff times revolving around our teams as well. But we bring you the best coverage that we can across the wards. We encourage you to click like and subscribe to these videos. We post the highlights as well as short videos, which are getting some good numbers as well, which we do appreciate. And of course, the appeal to keep BHBN Radio going. Keep that in mind and pass that on to your friends and keep sharing it around. For Jonathan Wimbush, Ed Mackay, Rob Richards, and Kim Smith, I'm Ben Ellis. We'll see you next week.
Birmingham Sports
with Ben Ellis. This is BHBN Radio.